This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hi guys. So today we'll talk about Hadoop commands. But before that, let's try to understand the summary of the previous session. So in the previous session, we spoke about the important Linux commands that are required for a data engineer or a big data developer. So let me try to recap. So we have seen about mkdir. So mkdir is used to create the directories. So whereas rmdir is used to remove the directories. Then we have seen cd command, which is actually used to change the directory. That is, if you wanted to move from one directory to other directory, then we can use cd command. Then we have seen pwd. So pwd basically stands for print working directory or present working directory. Then we have seen about man command. Man is used to get the manual pages. Then we spoke about help. So help is actually used to get the list of all the options that we can use on a given command. Then we spoke about rm command. Rm is basically used to remove the files and directories. But again, remember one point: if you delete something by using rm command, that's a permanent delete. So you have to be a little careful when you use rm command. Hence, instead of using rm command, I would highly encourage you to take a backup of the file or directory before deleting it by using cp command. Then we spoke about mv command. Mv command can be used for two things. One is to move the files or rename the files, or move the files or rename the directories. Then we have seen about VI editor, which is very, very powerful and which is very, very important in the projects as well as interviews. So then we spoke about ls command, which is used to get the list of all the files and directories in a given path. Then we spoke about cat command, which is going to display the file contents. But problem with cat command is it will display everything from a file. Instead of using cat command, I would encourage you to use either head command or tail command. Head command will display first 10 lines of a file, whereas tail command will display last 10 lines of a file. So now let's talk about Hadoop commands. So first step is I'm going to launch the terminal in Cloudera Quick-Start-VM. Right click, say open in terminal. So then you can increase the font, click on view and click on zoom in twice. So I'm going to run a command. Ignore this command for now. So HDFS plus DFS -ls. Ignore this command. You'll learn about this command shortly. Okay. So first command in Hadoop is nothing but Hadoop itself. If you just type Hadoop, you're going to get the list of all the subcommands. So I'm going to type Hadoop, and you can see that this is the output. So in Hadoop, we have got something called as FS, which stands for file system. This is the one that we are going to focus on. So if you say Hadoop space FS, you're going to get again bunch of subcommands. You can see that you're getting bunch of subcommands again here. So this is what we're going to learn today. And interestingly, if you say HDFS, that's going to get to again bunch of subcommands. So within that, we have something called as DFS, which stands for distributed file system. This is what we're going to focus on. So HDFS space DFS, enter. Again, you can see bunch of subcommands. So interestingly, the output from HDFS DFS, which is nothing but this output, is same as the output that we have got from the previous command, that is Hadoop space FS. Both are same. So we spoke about Hadoop command, we spoke about Hadoop space FS, and we have seen HDFS space DFS. So output from Hadoop space FS and output from HDFS space DFS both are same. Now let's talk about usage command. So, but before that, one important point which I want to make here is in Linux, the home directory is available under this path: home, home, and then the user ID, right? Which is nothing but home. So in our case, we are using Cloudera as the user. So this was the home directory in Linux. But whereas in Hadoop, the home directory is available under this path: /user and then the user ID. Sorry, user ID here is nothing but Cloudera. So going forward in today's session, we are going to use the path called as user Cloudera, because user Cloudera is the home directory for the Cloudera user in Hadoop. So even once you join a project, you're going to get the similar directory structure, that is user and then your employee ID or your name. That will be the directory where you're going to do your work. So now there are a bunch of commands how to get more information about any given command. So to get more information about any given command, I'm going to use a couple of commands. One is called a usage command. So let's see how to use usage command. HDFS plus DFS hyphen usage. You have a command called as ls in Hadoop also. I'm trying to get the list of all the options of ls command by using usage. You can see that these are the list of all the options that we have got. And also, suppose let's say I wanted to get more information, but because by looking at this output, I'm not clear what these options are, right? That is where you can replace usage with help. Sorry, there is a typo. You have to use help. You can see that now you are able to see what that particular command is all about, and you can see the list of all the options along with their descriptions as well here. So I hope you got some idea about what these commands are. Now, first let's talk about the touch command or touchz command. So this is also used to create an empty file in Hadoop. But before creating an empty file in Hadoop, let us go and check the contents under the home directory of Cloudera user. HDFS plus DFS hyphen ls. Check the contents under user Cloudera path. So there is nothing available right now. So now we are going to go ahead and then try to create an empty file. HDFS plus DFS hyphen touchz under user Cloudera, create an empty file with the name called as sample.txt. So to confirm whether it has created it or not, you can run ls command. You can see that I have run the command and I can confirm that this is an empty file because the file size is showing us 0 bytes. Also, it is a file because it is starting with hyphen. So that's why by using touchz command, we can create an empty file in Hadoop. Now, can I create multiple empty files in a single shot? Yes. Let me show that. Suppose if I say a.txt under user Cloudera, I wanted to have one more empty file called as b.txt. So this should create two empty files for me in a single shot. Have a look here. I have two empty files created, a.txt and then b.txt. and these are empty files because these are showing us zeros, right? So that's a using touch Z command we can create multiple empty files as well in a single shot. So now let's talk about put command. So put command is actually used to copy a file from your local file system to HDFS. Now when I say local FS here, it's nothing but file system. It is nothing but Linux. So we can copy the files from Linux to Hadoop by using put command. So let's talk about put command. So I'm going to create a file in my local Linux file system, file1.txt. This is file1.txt. So I have this file created and it's in my local machine right now. It's nothing but Linux. I want to copy this file from Linux to Hadoop. Then I can say HDFS space DFS hyphen put. The file name is file1.txt and the destination is user Cloudera. Now I can confirm that by typing ls command. You can see that I have the file called as file1 available here. But now you can even confirm the contents by using cat command. So we have cat command in Hadoop also. We can use cat command to check the contents of the files. HDFS space DFS hyphen cat, then give this file name. So that's why by using put command, we have copied the file called as file1.txt into Hadoop. Not only put command, you can even use something called as copy from local. So let's see how to use copy from local. I'll create one more file, file2.txt. This is file2.txt. So I have created the second file called as file2.txt. Now I wanted to copy this file from Linux to Hadoop. I can use copy from local command. HDFS space DFS hyphen copy from local. File name is file2.txt. The destination is user Cloudera. So now you can confirm that by typing ls command. I can see that I have the file called as file2 copied here. So to copy a file from Linux to Hadoop, you can even use a command called as copy from local. To confirm, you can type cat command once again on this file called as file2.txt. So that's by using either put command or copy from local command, you should be able to copy your files from local Linux file system to HDFS. So we have already seen cat command. Cat command is used to display the contents of the files. So let's talk about get command. So get command is exactly opposite of put command. That is, it is used to copy the files from Hadoop to Linux. So let's go back here. So first, let's see the list of all the files. Suppose I wanted to copy this file called as a.txt into my Linux. So remember that this file is available in Hadoop now. I wanted to copy this file from Hadoop to Linux. I can use get command. HDFS space DFS hyphen get, and I wanted to copy this file, hence I'm going to copy this and then say dot. Dot is nothing but current directory in Linux. Hit enter. Now to confirm that this has copied or not, you can type ls command, lsfnlrt, which is a Linux command, and you can see that this file has been copied. So this file has been copied from Hadoop to Linux just now. To confirm that, you can type date command. So the current time is October 5th, 1949. and you can see the timestamp of this file, October 5th, 1949, and you can see the size is showing as 0 bytes, which means this file has been copied just now by using get command. So instead of get command, you can even use copy to local to do the same thing. So first, let's see the list of all the contents under user Cloudera path. Suppose I wanted to copy this file called as sample.txt from Hadoop to Linux. Then I can use this command called as copy to local. HDFS plus DFS hyphen copy to local. Mention the full path of the file, which is nothing but user Cloudera sample.txt. Then say dot. This will copy the file into Linux now. To confirm, I can type lsf in LRT and I can see the file called as sample.txt. Type date command. Current time is October 5th, 1950, and you can see that same timestamp for this file, October 5th, 1950. So that's how you can copy the files from Hadoop to Linux by using either get command or copy to local command. So one interview question here, what is the difference between put and get? So put is used to copy the files from your Linux to Hadoop, whereas get is reverse. Get is used to get the contents from Hadoop to Linux. So now let's talk about cp command. So cp command is actually used to copy the files within HDFS. So basically, it is again used to take the backup of the files if you wanted to. So let's go back here. Let's see the list of all the files under user Cloudera path. So have a look here. We have a file called as file1.txt, and I wanted to take a backup of that file. I can use cp command for the same. HDFS plus DFS hyphen cp, and this is the file that I wanted to create a backup, and I can create a file called as file1 underscore backup.txt. So have a look here. I have this file called as file1 underscore backup.txt has been created. Right. Now to confirm that, you can also run cat command to check the contents. HDFS plus DFS hyphen cat. Check the contents of both the files, your original file, which is nothing but file1.txt, and also you can check the contents of your backup file as well. So both should have the same content. You can see that the contents are exactly same. So that's how you can take the backup of the file by using cp command. Not only that, it can also be used to copy the file into a directory. But right now we don't have any directories, because if you go and check the contents under user Cloudera path, all of these are files, because these are all starting with hyphen. These are all starting with hyphen, hence these are all files. We don't have any directories right now. Let us go ahead and then create a directory. HDFS plus DFS hyphen mkdir is used to create a directory. Under user Cloudera, create a directory with the name called as d1. So you can run ls command to confirm that a directory has been created or not. I can see that the directory has been created. Directory d1 has been created. It is a directory because it is starting with d. Now my goal is to copy a file called as file1 underscore backup.txt into this directory called as d1. So let's see how to do that. So HDFS plus DFS hyphen cp, and this is the file that I wanted to copy, file1 underscore backup.txt, and I want to copy it into d1 directory. So now to confirm that the contents have been copied into directory 1, I can run ls command HDFS plus HDFS-ls. Check the contents under user Cloudera path. Directory name is D1. Now have a look here. We have the file called as file1 underscore backup.txt has been created. Okay. If you see, okay, there is a one question in the chat box saying name node is in the safe mode. So to come out of this, you have to run a command. So Danish, to avoid that issue, you have to run a command. So let me type that command for you in the chat box. So the command is this sudo -u. I'm typing in the chat, guys. DFS admin. So Danish, if you type this command, that should solve the problem. Give a try and let me know. So there is a typo, it should be DFS admin. DFS admin. Okay, if you type this command, that should solve the problem. Okay, coming back here. So we have seen how to copy a file into a directory by using cp command. Now let's talk about ls command. So one interview question is how to get only the directories. How to get only the directories. So right now I can see the combination of both the files and directories. But suppose let's say I wanted to get only the directories. Then I can club this with the Linux command called as grep command. Grep d, that should get you only the directories. So this vertical symbol that you're seeing here is called as pipe symbol. It is basically used to connect two commands. That is, output from first command will go as input to the second command. And here by using grep, we are trying to filter out only the lines which are containing D as the starting character. So that's how we can see only the directories now. So similarly, if you wanted to see only files, you can do that. Grep for hyphen. That should get you only files. Have a look here, it's getting me only files. Right, so if you want, you can club your Hadoop commands with the Linux commands also this way. So let's talk about -h option. But before that, I wanted to copy one file. So right now I am in home Cloudera path. So if I say lsf-lrt, I have a file called as enterprise deployment.json. Right? So if you wanted to copy this file into Hadoop, I can use put command again. HDFS plus DFS hyphen put. I can say en, hit tab. Basically, I'm using Linux auto completion feature here also. Then my destination is user Cloudera path. So let's try to check the contents under user Cloudera path. So have a look here. We have some small files such as file1.txt and file2.txt. Look at their sizes, 18 bytes and so on. But look at this file, enterprise deployment.json. It is showing as 53,655 bytes. Right? It is not so much human readable. To make this size human readable, you can pass an option called as -h, which is nothing but human readable way of getting the file sizes. You can see it is showing us 52.4 kb now. So that's how to get human readable sizes. Then you can use -h option. So let's talk about the recursive option -r. But before that, let me run a command. Let me run this command called as ls, and let me also run this command called as ls with -R. So do you see any difference between both the commands? So here I'm saying ls and this is the output, and I'm saying ls with -R, and do you see any changes in the output? I can see one difference. So in the previous command, I'm not able to see what are the contents under D1. But now in the next command, as I'm passing ls with -R, I'm seeing the contents within T1 also. Because here R stands for recursive. You should be able to see the contents in a recursive fashion. Whatever contents that are there inside the directories also, you should be able to see it by using -R option. So suppose, let's say if you just wanted to see only the file names and directory names, nothing else, then you can use -C option. So let's try using -C. You should be able to see just the file names and directory names, nothing else. Okay, that's with respect to ls command. Let's talk about mkdir. So we have already used mkdir command to create one directory. So you can even create multiple directories also by using mkdir command. Let me show that. So first, if I run ls command, I just have only one directory called as d1. I can create multiple directories also in a single shot by using mkdir. HDFS plus DFS mkdir under user Cloudera. I wanted to have two directories, that is D2. Again, I wanted to have one more directory called as D3. So this should create totally two directories for me in a single shot. So to confirm that, I can run ls command once again. And I can see that the directories D2 and D3 has been created. So that's how by using mkdir, you can even create multiple directories in a single shot. Now, I wanted to create hierarchy of directories or multi-level directories. That is, I have country contains states, and states contain districts. So this hierarchy of directories or this multi-level directories I wanted to create under user Cloudera path. So you can do that again by using mkdir with -p option. So let's try using HDFS plus DFS -mkdir -p. So this should create hierarchy of directories for you, that is country contains states and state contains districts. To confirm, type ls command and you can see that you have country, and if you go inside country, you should see states and districts. The best way to see the output is run ls with -R option on country. You can see that country contains states and states contains districts. So that's how we can use mkdir to create a single directory, to create multiple directories, as well as to create multi-level directories as well by using -p option. So let's talk about get merge. But before talking about get merge, any questions anybody have? If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Any questions so far? I think we are good so far. No questions. Let's move on. So I want to talk about get merge. So look at the name carefully, get merge. That is, we wanted to get multiple files from Hadoop to Linux and we want to club it. So there is one question in the chat box. what is the need for Linux? So as a big data developer, you have to work on big data clusters. All the big data clusters are built on top of Linux servers, right? So that's where, that's the importance of Linux. If you don't know Linux, then it will be tough to work as a big data engineer. So that's the importance of Linux. That's a very, very fundamental technology that you should be good at to become a good data engineer. Okay. So now let's go back here. So let's check the contents under user cloud era path. So I have these files and directories. Suppose, let's say that I wanted to get the contents of multiple files. Suppose I have file1 underscore backup.txt, and then file2. I wanted to club the contents of these three files into a single file, and I wanted to have that file created on my local Linux machine. So what I'm trying to talk here is HDFS space DFS hyphen get merge, that is get multiple files and merge them. So what those files are: file1.txt space file2.txt and file1 underscore backup.txt. Club all these three files into a single file called as final.txt. And this file called as final.txt, it could be created in Linux. So to confirm that, we can type lsfnlrt, and this file has been created, final.txt, cat space that file name. And you can see that I'm getting the contents from all the three files together. File1 is from, first line is from file1, second line is from file2, third line is from file1 underscore backup.txt. Also, there is one more interesting option that is supported by get merge called as -nl. NL is nothing but new line character. That is, after the contents of every file, it's going to separate the contents by using new line character. Final underscore latest.txt. Enter. Now type lsfnlrt. You can see the file called as final underscore latest. Right now, if you can say final underscore latest, you can see that after the contents of every file, you can see that it's separated by new line character. So there is one question in the chat. So can we merge three files into one file in HDFS? I don't think there is a direct option to do that. I don't think it's possible, but let me see if there is a way. So what I think probably there is no direct way to do that. What you have to do is you have to get the files into Linux and then probably do it. But I don't think there is a direct way to merge the contents of multiple files in Hadoop itself. That's not possible. Now let's talk about RMDR. RMDR is actually used to remove the directories. Suppose I wanted to remove the directory called as D3. I can remove that by using RMDR. HDFS space DFS hyphen RMDR. Then I would like to remove the directory called as D3. So this should remove the directory called as D3. So directory D3 is gone, it's deleted. Now let me try to remove the directory called as country. So we have the directory called as country, and let me try to remove it. But again, remember, country is not an empty directory because country contains states, states contain districts. But let's give it a try. So it's throwing an error, right? It's throwing an error saying directory is not empty. Remember one thing. So remember one thing. So rmdir command works only if the directory is empty. If the directory is not empty, then you cannot use rmdir command. So how to solve this problem now? How to remove this directory called as country? This is where I have to use rm with -r option. That is, it's going to recursively remove the directory along with its subdirectories such as states and districts. So it deleted the directory called as country along with its subdirectories such as states and districts. To confirm, type ls command. So now I don't have the directory called as country because country along with its subdirectories such as states and districts has been deleted. So that's how we can use rmdir command to remove an empty directory. And if it is not an empty directory, then you have to use rm with -r option. Now I can use rm command to remove the files. Suppose I wanted to remove the file called as sample.txt. I can do that. HDFS space DFS-rm, and then I wanted to remove this file called as sample.txt. So this should remove the file called as sample.txt. If you type ls command, then sample.txt is gone. Now, can I remove multiple files together in a single shot? Let's give it a try. HDFS space DFS-rm. So let's try to remove a.txt and b.txt, both the files. So this should remove both the files. So both are gone. Now I wanted to remove file1 underscore backup.txt, and then file2.txt, all the three files together. Do you see anything in common? Yes. All these are files starting with f and ending with .txt. So let's try removing all the three. HDFS plus DFS-rm under user Cloudera. Anything that is starting with f, anything that is ending with .txt, I want to remove all. So that's where I'm using this wildcard character called a star that will remove the files irrespective of their name. It can be anything. If it is starting with f, if it is ending with .txt, it's going to remove all those files. Hence, you can see that it deleted all those three files. To confirm, you can even type ls command. You should not see those three files. I don't have those three files. Okay, there is one question in the chat box. Do we have -rf option in HDFS? Let's check that. HDFS plus DFS help on rf. So we do have it, but we cannot club it, I think. You can use -smaller or -capital, and you can use -f. So what is -f? If the file does exist and don't display a diagnostic message or modify the exist status, and yes, that is possible. You can give a try. Okay, guys, I think that's with respect to the rm command. We are clear with rm command now. Now let's talk about move from local. Read the name carefully. Move from local. That is, we are trying to move the files from local Linux file system to HDFS. So I'm on my local Linux machine right now. I'm going to create an empty file. Let's say touch October 2022.txt. This is an empty file that I'm creating on my local Linux machine. Now I can run move from local command. HDFS space DFS- move from local, and then I'm trying to move it to user Cloudera path. So now we can even run ls command, HDFS plus HDFS-ls, check the contents under user cloud data path. So now have a look here. We have the file called as October 2020.txt has been created. But what about the original file which was there in Linux? Will it still be there? Let's find out. The answer is no. You don't have that file available here because here we're talking about moving the files from local Linux file system to HDFS. What if you want to move the files within HDFS? Then you can use mv command. Let's use a mv command. Suppose, let us say that I wanted to move this file called as enterprise deployment.json into the directory called as D2. I can use mv command for the same. HDFS plus HDFS-mv. I wanted to move this file called as enterprise deployment.json into the directory called as D2. Let's give a try. Type ls command now. You don't have the file called as enterprise deployment.json here because that should have been moved inside D2. To confirm, check the contents under D2 directory. So you can see that file here. So that's by using mv command, you can move the files within HDFS from one location to other location. So let's talk about tail command. But before talking about tail command, I wanted to talk about cat command once again. So if I try to check the contents of this file called as enterprise deployment.json by using cat command, it will display everything for me. So have a look here. If I'm using cat command, it is displaying everything. Whether I'm really interested or not, it will display everything. So you can even figure out the number of lines in this file by using wc-l. wc is nothing but word count, l is nothing but number of lines. So here we are trying to figure out the number of lines. Totally there are 1837 lines. So 1837 is still a small number. What if you have 1 crore lines? Then it will try to display all 1 crore lines for you. So that's where using cat command is not suggested, right? That's where using cat command is not suggested. So instead of cat command, use tail command. If you use tail command, then that will give you last 1 KB of the content, right? So if you use tail command, that will give you last 1 KB of the content, right? So don't get confused between tail command in Hadoop and tail command in Linux. In Linux, tail will give you will display last 10 lines of a file. In Hadoop, tail will display last 1 KB of a file, right? So if you check the help here, HDFS plus HDFS hyphen help on tail, you can see that by default it will show last 1 KB of the file. So that's why using, instead of cat command, use tail command, that will display last 1 KB of the file. Now in Linux, head will display first 10 lines of your file, right? First 10 lines of a file. But in Hadoop, there is no direct head command. There is no direct head command. We don't have head command in Hadoop. So, but if you wanted to see first 10 lines of a file, there is still a way. There is a trick that we can use by using cat command with head. That will give you first 10 lines of a file. So of course you have to ignore this last line. If you ignore this last line, whatever contents that you're seeing here is actually nothing but first 10 lines of a file. Even though there is no direct head command in Hadoop, we can get first 10 lines by using this approach. So when will this be helpful? This will be helpful especially if you wanted to check whether your file contains the column names or not. Let me try to summarize what we have learned today. So we spoke about put command, which is actually used to copy a file from Linux to Hadoop, and get command is opposite of put, where we have used it to copy the files from Hadoop to Linux. And then we have seen how to use cat command to check the contents of the file, but using cat command is not suggested because it will display everything for you. Instead of cat command, go with tail. That will display last 1 KB of the files. Then we have seen how to use mkdir command to create a directory. Then we have seen how to use ls command to see the list of all the files and directories. Then we have seen how to use touchz command to create empty files. Okay, there is one question in the chat. Let me read that question. What is the need of tail command in real-time scenario? So if you wanted to check the contents of a file, then that's where you have to use tail command. As simple as that. So, and then based on today's session, I've got 10 interview questions for you. What I would suggest is go through this recording, practice everything, then come back to these interview questions. Try to answer these questions on your own. Of course, I'll be providing answers to these questions in a separate file so that you can cross-check. I've got a couple of assignments for you. So I would highly encourage you to solve these assignments also. And I'll be providing answers to these questions on a separate file so that you can cross-check. Any questions, guys? Anybody have any questions?
Vamsi, just to give a heads up, I was requesting for the drive access. I haven't got it. Could you just share me it?
I will do that. I am making a note of your email ID. I will do that.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Okay, any other questions, guys? Anybody have any questions? Okay, one question which I got in the chat box is, can we merge 3 files into one file in Linux? Yes, it is possible through cat command.
Are you going to, hi, Vamsi, are you going to share
Yeah,
all these files, the questions and answers, are you going to share it with us in the email, right?
not in the email. In the today's folder, you will see one file. There you will find questions as well as answers.
Okay, and how are we going to go in the folder with the cloud,
Yes, yes, yes,
okay,
yes, correct. You
okay,
will
thank you.
see a file in
Uh,
today's folder. There you
okay,
can see the questions as well as answers.
okay, thank you so much.
Okay, then yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.